Aloha, good morning. This is Caron B Davis of Caron B Realty International, and I'm very excited today. We're going to learn a lot about the art business and estate business. And this morning I have Andres Harnisch. Welcome. And Andres has been specializes in art, antiques, jewelry, and collectibles in Hawaii since 2006, and it's owned and operated by himself and his wife, Maureen. And they are probably one of the most island's leading and respected consignment firms. Their contacts and connections include a wealth of collectors, both in Hawaii and abroad. And on top of this, Andres is a certified personal property appraiser and holds accreditation through the Certified Appraisers Guild of America. He's the only brokerage in Hawaii to receive this accredited status in the American Society of Estate Liquidators. And it's probably one of the highest accolades and endorsements. So welcome this morning, Andres.
Good morning.
It was such a pleasure getting to know you more a few months ago and your services. And as you know, we represent a lot of estates, and oftentimes a family member's passed away, and we have this house full of beautiful valuables, and what do we do? So I'm just going to let you talk about, some of the services you provide for people, because I know our listeners today probably don't know where to go, and they have no idea of the depths of services that you offer in your company. So why don't we take away? Yeah.
So we usually being called in by the realtors themselves because they know of us and can recommend us to their clients if they're needing our services. We're offering appraisal services for fine art and personal property. So we're oftentimes being called in after the passing of a family member and to assess the value of the items in the house. We're not dealing with the assessment or the valuation of the property itself. I mean, the real estate. We're really dealing with the content. And from there, after the items being assessed and evaluated, and the family is choosing what they would like to keep or which pieces or which things they are willing to part with, we are offering our consignment services to them. As I said, we deal in art, antiques, jewelry, and collectibles. Most of the items that we deal with will be shipped off island. We're offering things up via varying outlets, including eBay, live auctioneers, and have a large network of collectors worldwide that are looking for specific things that we're offering directly to them. We also work with a number of businesses here in town, including the Consignment Center, Auction House, McLean's, and deal from moving companies to the 1-800-GOT-JUNK people to help our clients to deal with the accumulations of the people that in their families. So
wonderful. And I mean, why don't you give I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, but what's one of the most unique things you had to find for a client, that you can recall that, through your resources, you were able to find? I think you were talking to me about, was it a diamond ring or was it a piece of art? I think there was a couple of things you were mentioning to me.
I mean, our clients are, we had recently a client for whom we built an art collection. She was looking for very specific pieces. We were able to find a lot of these worldwide, locally, etc. In the meantime, her longtime boyfriend was thinking of proposing to her. And after we were able to help them in many other ways, came to us and said, you always know everything about everything. Please, how do I go about this? So we went to a local jeweler here and realized very quickly that retail diamonds are incredibly priced. Since I'm selling a lot of jewelry on the secondary market, I know that retail is not always best value for money. And so in this case, we were able to connect our client with a jeweler that we had worked with numerous times before out of state, who was willing to work with us on a wholesale basis, and got our client a wonderful engagement ring that would have cost here in town about $140,000 for $40,000.
Wow, yeah, I know. I remember you telling me that story. And
so it made us, again, invaluable to our client who thought that we hung the moon. And we were obviously very happy to help. We really enjoy problem solving or finding solutions for our clients. And since we have done, a lot of work and networking with people all over the US and the world, there's always options to come up. I have another interesting example. We had a client here locally that was looking for a nice period frame for a painting, and we just couldn't find one locally, nor in the United States. He was looking for, so I was able to connect with a frame place in Rome, Italy, who was able to they're remaking old frames, but they do it all by hand with gold leaf, the whole 9 yards. So we were ended up, because I wasn't sure what the client wanted, to purchase 3 frames for the same piece of art, and including the shipping from Rome, Italy, it was mailed to Hawaii in 3 days. The 3 frames and the shipping together was still less than it would have cost us to have one frame that we didn't like to be made in Honolulu. So there's, I always say, when we can't find it here, we'll look outside, and oftentimes just due to different countries and different pricing in different countries, there are options to be found that, you know, if you don't stick yourself out there, you will never know about.
Yeah, it's a small world, as they say, and and I have situations where clients are downsizing and have decided, to put their big home, their large homes on on the real estate market, and they may have a lot of collectibles or artwork. So you could go in there and give them assessments and then help them sell their estate properties.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it always depends if the clients are staying here in town. Obviously, here in Honolulu, we don't have a great many outlets to sell your things. I mean, and obviously, as you know yourself, you're in real estate. Anyone that has a brick and mortar store in Honolulu is going to charge a pretty substantial commission to sell any of your items, just because their expenses are incredibly high. What we have done in the past, when clients, for example, move out of town or out of state, we have helped them figure out what potentially they could take with them. It's being already separately packed in the packing up of the house project. We'll forward photos already to dealers or consignment places where they're moving to, and by the time the move is happening, the items that they're going to keep are being dropped off at their new home, and the items that they don't want to keep are being dropped off at those local consignment places or dealers. Because, as I said, here in town, oftentimes, especially if you don't have furnishings that are very sought after here, which would include, at least right now, mid-century modern furniture, I think koa pieces, Chinese hardwood pieces, they're always easily sold here in Honolulu. But if you have anything beyond that, oftentimes it's very difficult to find an outlet that is not just paying you pennies on the dollars. And so we always, at the end, is it so that in the move, the first piece that you're shipping is always the expensive piece. Everything else that you add on doesn't add on a great deal to it. So oftentimes it can make sense for these items to be moved somewhere else and be sold somewhere else too.
Absolutely. And then from another angle, how about if somebody's just bought a home and, they're looking at their bare walls and they want to, have art that they love? I mean, what can you do there, to help people, furnish their home with art?
I mean, look, the thing is that traditionally people go to galleries and purchase art there. Now, in the last couple of years, especially since the pandemic has been over, we've lost a lot of the local galleries here in Honolulu. Recently, in the fire in Lahaina, we lost a lot of galleries in Maui. There is just a lot less places available nowadays that you can look for art. Obviously, in the last 20 years, internet sales have gone through the roof. People are much more comfortable spending money on artwork that is being shipped in from out of state. So you always have the options of going either here in town to artists, to shows, to galleries, and look. For us, is it oftentimes so? We are oftentimes dealing with people that enjoy art, really like to buy art, but do understand that when you purchase art at a gallery, you're usually paying $1 for every 25 cents of value, just because the gallery needs to make money. They need to pay out the artists, and so it is oftentimes much cheaper and much more reasonable to look for art on the secondary market. And then you have to kind of decide, are you looking for decorative art, just to have something on a wall? Are you looking for art by noted artists that potentially has the chance to increase in value? So there's some different strategies. I mean, a lot of people with condos that come here just for a little while usually prefer just decorative art. Nowadays, you can go with original, you can go with giclée prints. I mean, there's 1,000 different options to go.
But what I love, what I'm hearing is like, people have interior designers. You would go into a home and help them collect an art collection and where to purchase those pieces.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an interior decorator, they usually are very well connected in town with all the businesses that are around and can oftentimes help set things up. It depends. Sometimes clients are very hands-on. They really want to be involved in the process. They really enjoy the hunt. Then a person like me is perfect because as you can see behind me, there's a lot of art standing. I have at any point.
How many pieces? Yeah, we won't, security reasons, I won't say a lot, but I do know that you have some great pieces.
Yeah, I have probably at any point between about 1,000 and 1,200 framed items in my office, and I'm constantly looking for new homes for art.
You must have a very fast brain. That's all I can say to keep up with it all. I have
also a very understanding wife that is that is not getting too upset when I'm bringing in the next lot and the next lot and the next lot.
Well, I know we have to cut this short today because I know you are 24/7 today, and you were kind enough to have a little window here for us this morning. And before we go, though, every week we have photos from Marianne from our company, and I know you've met Marianne. And
she's a great person, great salesperson.
Yeah, and I will put her photos on, and this is all to do with the historical Honolulu. And the first photo she has here is the Melchers building at 51 Merchant Street. And this was constructed in 1854. We never really talk about our older buildings here. And it's a Greek revival style structure that typifies the earliest period of Western construction in Hawaii, and is the oldest surviving commercial building. How about that for a fact today? And then, of course, the next photo we all know this, Murphy's Bar and Grill, very famous, built in 1890 by a local barkeeper. And investor Walter Peacock was originally called the Royal Saloon, and is popular. Of course, it's an Irish pub, which is very, very popular with locals. And then this silver. The remaining fragment was what was originally called the Campbell Block on Merchant Street, that suffered a fire in 1902 and then was replaced in 1967 by a new combined office and parking structure. The silver was interconnected, she mentions here, with the adjoining Bishop Estate building, and removing it would be harm its neighbours, so it was partly retained. And then, of course, the King Kamehameha statue, an 18-foot bronze statue that honours Hawaii's first king and stands in front of the beautiful home to Hawaii's State Supreme Court. And this was completed in 1874. So thank you, Marianne, for your photos and for the history lesson today. We never quite stopped to listen to history in here in Honolulu, but we thought that was appropriate with what you do. Much mahalo for today. Fabulous. We will put a link on our Facebook page here so people can contact you directly and with any questions. And is there any last words you'd like to say this morning?
I'm delighted to be of service and look forward working with you.
Great. Okay. Much mahalo.
Bye.